With everything that's going on right now, I've decided that I'm gonna go back to my original business plan, because this property, the 50 acres that I was looking into buying, I'm not gonna buy it. It's too many problems. It's a massive headache. I'm not gonna buy it. And so I'm going back to my original business plan. I'm gonna start taking these animals up to 650, and so that means next week when the sale barns are open, I'm going to be liquidating the biggest animals. So I'm going back to my original business plan, and next week I'll be taking animals to the sale barn when they're open after the holidays. And so I'm going back to my original business plan, and I've been taking a look at this new deal, right? Because I was talking about this whole thing about the whole thing about my situation right now is that I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I've taken a good hard look at my numbers. I've taken a look at everything, and I'm good to go. Right? And I talked, the whole thing about money is that at the end of the day, I'm the one who knows how to make the money, and my money is just as good anywhere, right? And money talks. I mean, you're gonna understand that when you get to a certain point, it's such a few, like this land is a very good example. How many people do you know right now that are looking to start a $50 million farming business? Because realistically, if I was going to float $3.5 million worth of real estate, the only realistic way to float $3.5 million worth of real estate is, number one, you take your whole life to do it. Or, if you're like me and you're a first generation farmer and you're looking to get into farming and you want to float $3.5 million worth of real estate, the only realistic way to do it is effectively start yourself a $40 million business. If you start a $40 million business and that $40 million business produces a 10% net positive return, that's 400 grand a year. And if you make 400 grand a year, then sure, you could float $3.5 million worth of real estate. Right? So it's either, you want to whatever, right? You want to save up your entire life and, for 30 years or, which I'm not going to make fun. If that's what you did, then I'm not going to make fun of you. That's not the situation that I'm in. All right. I'm a first generation farmer. Me, as of right now, I'm ready to go. The whole thing about money, I've already talked about money in great detail, right? I talk about money all the time, and the idea of money is that the dollar that I make is the same dollar as anybody else makes. It's all the same dollar, right? It doesn't matter. The dollar that I make is the same dollar that anybody else makes. I talk about the idea of business. If you get into business, you have to understand that you are in a global competition for dollars. All right, nobody cares about your business. There's a very good possibility that starting a business is going to be the worst idea you've ever had. I don't know why there's a very real possibility that happens. All right. And I'm not saying that to be malicious. I've legitimately seen, a majority of people who start a business do not do exceptionally well. All right. And I'm just going to talk about my situation right now, or the situation that I'm in. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do another deal. I'm ready to expand my business. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm scraping money off of my business on a 10.5 acre field. All right. That's not where I want to be. I want to take my money and I want to reinvest it, and I want to expand my business. I've taken a look at the numbers. I've always said that in terms of doing a business deal, one of the most, this is how I do business deals. And I believe that this is very good information. When I do a business deal, if I cannot make the numbers work, if the deal does not work for me, then I don't take the deal. I go and I find another one. And when I present my deals, I think about them very thoroughly. I don't show up and go, and then be my buddy pal, and we're gonna hold hands and we're just, I don't do that. All right, I think about my deals very carefully. I think about them in a very, very, very thorough. I think about what I'm going to present. All right, this is the deal I'm going to offer. This is why I'm going to offer it. And in reality, you really want to hear the other people go first. The agent got in contact with the agent for the other party yesterday, and they got back with the information to me, and they told me what the seller wants. And so the seller wants a 25% down payment, And the seller also, he's not really interested in collecting a bunch of interest or anything. He's more looking to do a shorter term loan. He really wants to do about a 5-year loan or so, a 5-year or so loan, 3 to 5 year loan, and then he wants the buyer to commercially finance after 5 years or so. He wants the buyer to commercially finance the rest of the deal. And so that's what the seller wants. And so, I listened, and in reality, you really want to hear them go first, because the seller is a very old man. And so he's looking to sell this property, and I'm like, I can present a deal, and when I present my deal, I'm going to think about what I'm going to present. All right, you got to think about your deals. You don't just that's not how it works. You have to think about your deal. Think about what and then you're going to see what I mean. And here's the notepad, or here's the sticky note that I wrote. It's a rough estimate idea of what do I want the deal to look like, and why do I want it to look like that, etc., etc. And so if you want to take a look at what was on the sticky pad, you can just pause the video and take a look at it. And so in reality, the deal that I'm going to present, I cannot offer a 5-year term. I can do a 7-year term. The fastest that I could do this deal is the lending terms would be 7 years. And the deal that I would offer is I would give him the 25% down, because here's the thing, me right now, I can probably, I can get myself $1 million worth of real estate, and I can float it with no issue. All right, in terms of my monetary situation, I've been talking about this. My money is just as good anywhere, right? And the whole thing about the $350,000 piece of land, it was that it was such a minuscule amount of money that I didn't, if they wanted to give me the deal, then I would take the deal, and if they don't want to give it to me, then I don't care. All right, 350 grand is not enough money for me to, if they wanted to do a deal with me, then I would do it. But in reality, 350 grand is such a small amount of money that it's negligible to me. I mean, I'm not gonna go and get commercial financing for 350 grand. I'm not gonna go, oh my God, I really got to put this thing together, and I really got to, put in some elbow. I'm not gonna do that for 350 grand. For 50 million, I'll do it. For 10 million, I'll do it. I'm not going to do it for 350 grand. All right. And so this is, and when I do a deal, the whole thing about doing a deal is that present a deal that works. My whole big thing is that I present deals that work for me, and I listen to what the other party wants, and I offer them what they want as well. More or less, I give them what they want, and I also put the things that I want into the deal as well. And if I cannot make a deal work for me, then I will go and find myself a different deal. I think that this is a very interesting time to take a look at this whole situation, because maybe you'll understand more now that we are here. You will understand more, because I'm at this point in time, I'm ready to do a deal. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do a deal. Right? And now maybe it will start to make more sense. Right? My money is just as good anywhere. At the end of the day, I'm the one who knows how to make the money. Right, and if you really want to know what it's like to have to make money like this, to go and make money like this, then go and do it. Nobody's stopping you. It's a free country. All right, and so right now I'm ready to go. I don't know exactly what deal I'm going to take, but I know that I'm going to take a deal. I know I'm going to take one. And so the whole thing about the scope of my project is that if I buy $1 million worth of real estate, I can do that with zero problems. The bank will give me the money. I can do that with zero issues. I don't have any issues floating the debt. And if I can buy $1 million worth of real estate, I mean, realistically, I'm going to look into buying a big piece of land. And if I buy a big piece of land, I'm going to run more cattle on it. And if I run more cattle on it, I'll make more money. And so my whole situation right now is that I'm looking for a deal. And I came across this one, it's several $1 million. And I was taking a look at the whole situation. And and I talked to the seller. I talked to their agent, or I didn't talk to their agent, but the agent talked to their agent, and that they gave me the information on what the seller wants. And so I took a look at what the seller wanted, and then I formulated a deal for myself, something that would work for me. That's also going to include the wants of the seller. The seller wants this. The seller doesn't really care about the interest rate. The seller does not want to give a long-term loan. Realistically, he wants to do a 3 to 5 year loan. Right? He at the end of about 5 years, he wants the buyer to commercially finance the rest of the property. And so I listened to what the seller wanted. And then I took a look at what I could do. What could I offer in terms of the deal to make it happen? Right? And this is the deal that I'm going to offer. I'm going to offer him, you know, okay, because my whole situation is that right now, as of right now, I can probably get myself a loan for about $1 million to purchase real estate. It's going to be about $1 million. And I can easily float the debt. The debt is the, you know, whatever, the $6,000 a month. It doesn't matter. I can float the debt. The debt is no issue. All right. I can get myself about $1 million worth of real estate right now. And so, you know, for this deal, I could offer the $850,000 down. I could offer the 25% down payment. But for that, you know, in an ideal situation, I would have 7 years to farm the entire property. And then at the end of the 7th year, I would then be able to commercially finance the entire deal. And this is why I'm doing that. This is why I want the deal. This is why I want the deal to be to look like this. You know, the first year. Well, okay. I'm gonna talk about the details of the deal. Okay. So I want to offer this. So this is what my deal is gonna look like. I'm gonna offer him the $850,000 down. The down payment, I can do that. And then the rest of it, I want, you know, no payment for 7 years. And then at the end of the 7 years, I want to be able to commercially finance the entire project. And the reason that I do that is because by the end of the 5th year, you know, if I continue forward with my business like this, and when I continue forward with my business like this, I anticipate that by the end of the 5th year, I will have about somewhere around maybe about $750,000 cash, and then I will also have 400 cattle worth of equity. And so, you know, at the end of the 5-year mark, maybe I have about $1.25 million, $1.5 million. And so the whole thing is that you know, with this whole situation, is that even if the deal falls apart at the end of 7 years, even if the deal falls apart, I don't just bankrupt. I can still walk away from the deal with about $500,000. Like for whatever, you know, let's say whatever, you know, but you know, I still need to work through the fine details of the deal. I still need to work through the fine details, but this is just a rough idea. It's just a rough idea of what I'm looking at. You know, I still need to think about this thing more thoroughly. But at the end of the day, the big thing is that I know it's possible. But it's going to be possible if I get the right deal. And I think that this is a very, you know, a realistic time for me to talk about this. Because right now I am actually ready to do a deal. I'm actually ready to go. The bank will probably give me a loan for about $1 million. And I can float that $1 million with zero issues. So I want to buy myself. I want to do a deal. And so I'm looking at these various deals. And I'm looking to choose one. The one that I can make work is the one that I'm going to take. And the whole thing about this situation is that my money is just as good anywhere. That's the whole big thing. At the end of the day, I'm the one who knows how to make the money. And my money is just as good anywhere that I go. That's the big thing, right? And so right now I'm ready to do a deal. I'm actually coming up with a deal to present to this seller. Sooner than later, I will have done a deal. All right, I'm actually the money is ready to go. Starting next week, I'm actually going to start liquidating cattle again. I'm going to start liquidating cattle again. There's no reason for me to hold on to these animals until 850 if I don't have an excessive amount of grass. And so, you know, I'm gonna start liquidating cattle again next week. The money is squared away. The money is good to go. You know, I can get myself about $1 million worth of you know, I would anticipate that the bank gives me a loan for about $1 million in terms of the real estate, and I can also float $1 million with no problem. And so right now I'm taking a look at this deal. It's larger than anything that I was really looking at, but I mean it's not you know, it's not so far out of the picture that but in reality I understand that I can do this. All right, I can do this. It's not you know, it's not like it's not like I'm about to go on a mystical magical adventure. Okay, like deep down I understand that I can do this. All right, and I'm still, you know, I actually only slept about 5 hours last night, and you know, and I woke up completely you know, but I'm still kind of in this situation where when I think about the deal, I still feel like throwing up. You know, I'm still kind of in this situation where it's like when I think about what I'm looking to do, it still makes me like want to vomit. And so you know, and last night I only slept for about 5 hours, and I woke up completely awake. So you know, right now I'm still kind of in a situation where you know, I still need to think about this thing, and I still need to just you know, get it together. All right, it's just gonna take a little bit. You know, I've always said that, you know, I'm not too worried about it, because you know, this whole thing, you know, feeling like this, it doesn't last forever, and it always passes. So I'm not too worried about it. I just need a couple of days. I've been thinking about what do I want to offer the seller. I've been taking a look at what do I want to offer in terms of my portion of the deal. And the thing about doing a deal is that if it doesn't work out, you know me, I give this. Okay, when I do a deal with somebody, you know, in a reality situation, I want to listen to what they have to say first, right? And so the seller told me what they want. So I took a listen to what they want. And then now I'm going to add the portion of what I want. All right. You know, I'm not going to gouge out their eyes, right? I'm not going to, you know, give them, you know, I'm going to take a listen for what they want. And then I'm going to add the portion that I want. I can't do a 5-year loan, but I can do a 7-year. I can do 7 years. I can do 7 year, and I can do the 25% down. The 25% down is not going to be an issue. I can do that. The 5-year term, that's not a realistic for me. 7 years, I can do 7 years. And you know. And even, you know, let's say that in the next 7 years, let's say that the real estate market falls apart or whatever, right? I've been talking about the overall real estate market, right? The only reason for interest rates to stay high, if you take a look at the broader economy, the only time that interest rates stay elevated is when the economy is inflating uncontrollably. All right, I talk about this, you know, the only reason for the interest rates to stay high for a long period of time is that the economy is inflating uncontrollably. That's the only time. And so that effectively means that the cost of the asset is going up, and if the economy is inflating uncontrollably, then the cost of cattle will also go up, because cattle are a commodity, right? I've talked about this. Cattle are a commodity. They are a legitimate investment. Like if you go on the stock market, you can actually find the price of feeder cattle. And so if the economy is inflating uncontrollably, then the interest rate will stay high. But I anticipate that for one reason or another, interest rates will go down in the near future. And even if they don't, then that means that the price, then, you know, and I actually talked about this a long time ago too. You know, why did I buy an option contract in the bonds, right? And I talked about this whole thing when I was talking about buying an option contract in the long-term bond, right? Because I bought an option contract in the long-term U.S. Treasury bond, the 20-year plus Treasury bond, because the biggest risk that I saw to the cattle business was not the cattle business, but was the overall economy. If the economy rolls over, then the cattle market will probably go down, right? But as of right now, the cattle market has stayed elevated, and the interest rate is still high, so the price of the bond is still low, right? The certificate price of the bond is low, right? And, you know, I talked about all of these things, right? And so And so I used I used an option contract on the U.S. Treasury bond, the 20-year Treasury bond, 20-plus-year Treasury bond, as an insurance policy for my cattle business, right? And so far so good. The bond has not gone up in value, but the price of cattle has not gone down either. And so for one reason or another, I believe that interest rates are going to go down. What are some ways that the interest rates can go down? The asset market could tank, right? The asset market and the interest rate is effectively on a counterweight. The interest rate is a yield of the bond, right? And so the bond market and the overall asset market is on a counterweight. And so I was talking about this whole situation. I anticipate that over the next a few years that the interest rate is going to go down for whatever reason. It might be because asset prices go down. Asset prices might tank. The government might, not the government, the central bank. The central bank is not the government, but the central bank might lower the interest rate intentionally to stimulate the economy. There are multiple ways that the interest rate can go down. Okay, there are multiple ways that the interest rate can go down. But if the economy is inflating uncontrollably, and then the central bank lowers the rate, I mean, then it's not going to do anything. All right, because the market is going to decouple from the Fed. All right, it's like if the economy is inflating uncontrollably and the central bank lowers the rate, interest rates will still continue to go up just on their own accord because the asset market is inflating uncontrollably. All right, so I don't really think hyperinflation is going to happen. All right, I don't think hyperinflation is going to happen. I don't think we're going to have massive deflation either. But I mean, and I've talked about this. Okay, and actually, and I'll talk to and I'll talk about my whole idea of buying this new piece of land. The first step that I'm going to take in buying this piece of land is that I'm going to put it under an option, or not an option. I'm going to put it under contract. I'm going to put it under contract, and I'm going to take the contract to the bank. I'm going to take the contract to the FSA, and then the FSA is going to appraise it for me. So the bankers will appraise the value of the land. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out what the bank tells me the land is worth. And if I purchase the land for at its value, or maybe I get a little bit of a discount or whatever, right? A 5-10% discount or whatever off the appraisal value because of the high interest rate environment. I talk about it, and I make a deal, and maybe I get a 10% under appraisal value, etc. Whatever it may be. Okay, then I personally do not anticipate that farmland in the middle of nowhere central Texas, like if I drive an hour away from here into the middle of the nothingness, right? I mean, there's nothing out. I don't think that land value in that area is gonna fall, right? I mean, it's not gonna go down. I don't anticipate that land values in the middle of central Texas is just gonna drop. If it does drop, it probably will not fall more than 10%. So, as long as I can get it for appraisal value, or realistically with the interest rate environment and everything, unless I can get a real good deal on it, I would want it for a slight bit under appraisal value. And if I get it for a slight bit under appraisal value, chances are I'm good, right? The economy's not going to fall apart tomorrow. The economy's not going to hyperinflate tomorrow, right? I mean, and et cetera, et cetera. All right. And so, I'm going to go and I'm going to get the land. I'm going to put it under contract. I'm going to take the contract to the bank. I'm going to have the bank appraise it. And then I'm going to get the money, the down payment money situated, the $850 or whatever. I'm going to figure out what the bank will lend me, etc. The FSA lends money. They'll appraise the property and lend me the money. I'm going to get that all squared away. I'm going to make my balance sheet look real good. I'm going to make my credit look real good. I'm going to be, I'm taking animals to the sale barn starting next week. So I'll just be scraping money off my business until I'm ready to go. As of right now, I'm ready to go. I'm looking for a deal, but I need a deal that's going to work for me. And I'm not looking to gouge anybody's eyes out, right? I'm not looking to, I'm not whatever, right? I'm not looking to whatever. I'm not looking to, I'm just looking to get a decent deal. I just need a good deal. It doesn't have to be a great deal. It doesn't have to be the most phenomenal deal I've ever seen, right? I just need a good asset at a good price with the realistic situation of the market, right? The interest rates are high, right? I mean, et cetera, et cetera. But also, if I'm going to buy land in the middle of central Texas, in the middle of nowhere, then the land value is probably not going to drop a significant amount. So, you know, I'm ready to go forward on my next deal. I'm ready to go forward on it. I'm ready to go. Everything's squared away. I got a rough idea of what I want the deal to look like, what I'm going to present to the owner. You know, the deal that I'm going to present, I'm going to think about it a little bit more. I need to think about it a little bit more. Even when I think about it, even today, you know, I only ended up getting about 5 hours of sleep last night, and I woke up like I just had like 10 cups of coffee. I'm completely, you know, like I feel zero sort of tiredness or anything, and I only slept 5 hours last night. I still feel like throwing up when I think about this whole thing. And in a couple of days, that whole situation will have passed. Deep down, I understand that I'm more than capable of doing this. But I mean, you know, just to put things in perspective, $50 million you know, I would have to start myself a $50 million business. If I am legitimately going to float myself $3.5 million worth of real estate, I would need to start myself about a $50 million business. And, you know, I would have to start myself about a $50 million business. And that's the reality of the situation of the you know, but deep down I know I can do it. All right, it's just I you know, I just personally, I have not thought about this much money. I was, you know, I was thinking, you know, I want to, but I'm not saying that I'm even going to take this deal. If I can make the deal, if I can make a good deal, and the deal will work for me in terms of the numbers, if the deal will work for me, if I can actually do the deal, then I will do the deal. But if I can't do the deal, then I'm not going to do the deal. I will find a different one. And so right now I'm thinking about what do I want to present to the owner. You know, deep down I know I can do it, but it has to be the right deal. All right, it has to, the thing has to work. I mean, you know, when we're talking about $40-50 million, you know, I can't just flop on $40-50 million. I would effectively go, you know, but I mean, but here's the thing, and if the whole thing falls apart and I need to exit the deal after 7 years, the whole reason I'm going to ask for 7 years, and this is a part of the I need the deal to work for me, because I can't you know, I'm not gonna, you know, whatever, right? You know, I need the deal to work for me, is because if the whole thing falls apart in 7 years or whatever, and I lose whatever 850,000, I will still have about 400 cattle worth of equity. And I will have about you know, about 750,000 cash. And so, you know, I could pay for that, you know, and I could still leave with a couple $100,000. And so, you know, I can, you know, the deal, you know, but you know, am I going to, you know, flop on the deal? Is that the plan? No, it's not the plan. All right, but it's a fail-safe, okay? If things go horribly wrong, the economy falls apart, whatever, etc., you know, which I don't think it will, I can still exit the deal with a few $100,000, and then I can go and do another deal somewhere or whatever. But I don't go into deals with the intentions of bankrupting deals. All right, I'm not going to bankrupt my LLC and pull all the money out of it or anything like that. And so you know, I got an idea of what I want to present the owner. You know, I know I can do it. It's just I need to really think about what am I gonna do, and I have a rough idea of what I'm gonna do, and you know, I can make it work. But either which way, it doesn't matter. I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. I'm gonna, you know, my money is just as good anywhere. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. All right, and you know, and the thing, in the whole, you know, and I kind of wanted to talk about this too, and you know, I've talked about this, but you know, money is kind of a wonky situation, because if you actually took a look at it for what it is, you know, when we start talking about even $10 million, like if you legitimately sit here and you talk about making like legitimately give somebody the opportunity to even make 2 million, like, okay, let's say you take a look at this. And this is worth about what? About 2 million, right? It's worth about 2 million. In terms of the big perspective, This business is worth more than 2 million because I am ready to grow this business. I am ready to grow this business so I get a larger multiple of what the business is worth. But as it stands today, this business is probably worth about $1.5 million, about $2 million. And even for $2 million, if somebody, anybody, 99.9999999% of the population of the earth, if they could do it, they would be doing it. And at the end of the day, it's kind of sad, because it's like, imagine being in my situation legitimately, because I've always talked, I'm not like some malicious individual. I don't want to see people fail. And also, it's like me, I don't save people. The only way to do something like this is effectively work on it for 15 hours a day for the next 15 years of your life. Nobody got into farming because it was easy. This is legitimately going to be the hardest thing that you have ever done in your entire life. And at the end of the day, it's kind of sad, because if I just handed the money to people, most people would not, you would find that a majority of people are not good people. Most people are idiots. Even when they're looking right at it, they'll actually go running off in the wrong direction. They'll sell their soul to the devil for nothing, and all sorts of problems. All right, and so, the whole thing about this, it's like, and if somebody legit, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're, and it doesn't matter, it's not even just farming. If you actually, you have to understand that if you actually want to get good at something, I mean, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. It doesn't matter, and I use farming as an example, right? Like, if somebody, like, whatever, right, if any one of you, wanted to learn how to become a farmer, if you legitimately were not in a situation where you were like, I'm going to drop everything that I'm doing for the next 15 years of my life and legitimately work on this for 15 hours a day, you're not going to make it. Not a single person has even managed to get even to the 10% mark from, well, to the 10% mark, but I mean, kind of, right? I mean, there are a lot of people right now that they got like 500 acres, and they, their grandfathers, their great grandfather bought the property a long time ago for whatever, they were granted the property from the U.S. government, 5 generations ago, and now they whatever, right? They got 500 acres, and it's all paid off, and they run their 150 mama cows a year and make their 250 grand a year. You know what? But that's different. Me, I am a legitimate first generation farmer. All right, I'm a first generation farmer. So my situation is going to be different. All right, if I want to buy $3.5 million worth of real estate, I need to start a $50 million business. All right, and so, and that's, it's like, you got to take a look at it for what it is, and it's kind of sad. I mean, I'm not like a malicious individual. I don't want to see people fail. If anything, I want to see more people succeed, right? Honest to God, with all sincerity, if I could choose to have everybody fail and everybody succeed, I would choose to see everybody succeed. But chances are, but when you take a look at what I'm doing, the success rate for something like this is somewhere between 0.00001 and 0.00001%. Effectively, nobody makes it. Under any circumstance, you will fail. Everybody will for whatever reason. But if you actually want to make it, you are effectively going to have to work on it every single day for the next 15 years of your life. And if you learn the right things, then you're on the right path. And I'm not saying that you should just watch me. If anything, you should surround yourself with legitimate wealthy individuals. People, it's like this guy has, this guy legitimately managed to make $2 million on a 10.5 acre field running commercial cattle. That's fantastic. He's talking about growing his business. His financials are all squared away. He's ready to go. He's going to grow his business. He's looking for a good deal. He's really thinking about these deals, and he's going to go and do something with himself. That's fantastic. This guy, even right now, I probably make more money than you and everybody combined. All right, it doesn't matter. A vast, okay, whatever, let's say that there are 250, 350 of you watching, right? if I took a deal, if I took a bet with every single one of you, 50 to 1, and the deal was everybody you know, put them in a room and add up the amount of money that these people make, I would make more money than you and everybody you know combined. All right, and you know, and I'm not saying that like it's just the numbers are the numbers. All right, so I give the best information that I can. I invested in cattle because cattle was what I understood. I invested in land because land was what I understood. I started my own business because starting a business was what I understood. There are many ways to make money. You can buy businesses, you can buy into businesses, you can invest into businesses. There are many ways to make money. You don't have to go and become a first generation cattleman and, work 15 hours a day for the next 15 years of your life. There are many ways to make money. All right, you can go and you can learn about the stock market. You can learn about, you could learn about the Warren Buffett approach. You can go and learn how to acquire businesses. Take a look at businesses. You could learn how to, if you really wanted to start a business, have fun. You can go and start a business. I hope you succeed, but you need to understand that this is not some fairy tale journey. All right, if you flop on a business like this, you're effectively done forever. All right, and so this is whatever, and there are many ways to make money, right? You can go and get yourself a good salary and then invest the money. There are, you don't have to even run a business, you don't have to start a business, you can go and get a good job and invest some of your money for a long period of time. There are a lot of ways to make money. All right, and so I'm working on a deal. I'm ready to go. But that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.